Channel, the Car Guy Channel. My name is Mike Hennessy. This show is all about cars and all four car guys. Get yourself a cold beer. Get yourself a cold beer, guys, because our show is... Yeah! We are smoking! When people build this stuff, they build a lot of junk sometimes. You guys want me to be honest with you on this show?
Personality and car man of the decade. Here's Mike Hennessy.
$500. The only thing wrong with this car is the loose nut behind the wheel, but we're going to get that fixed. 18.5, 18.5.
I'm Mike Hennessy, and you're watching the Car Guy Channel. I have an auto repair shop. I've been in the business for over 30 years. You name it, we got it, we built it, we've done it, we do it. We love this car stuff, and I hope you guys do too. We're going to have a lot of fun, got a lot of stuff cooking, so just stay tuned. Welcome to the Car Guy Channel. We got a fantastic show. I know I say it all the time, but I think we got a fantastic show. We got a lot of good stuff to show you. We have a product out that's a valve replacement invention. And this thing is just, you got to see this thing. It goes into a cylinder head, blah, blah, blah. It's really pretty cool. And I think you car guys are really going to understand what this part's all about. The heads are being machined and actually molded as we speak, so these parts can fit into them. So you're going to be seeing this in the industry, and you've seen it on the Car Guy Channel for the very first time. We're going to take it to the 56 Chevy that we've been building. This car turned out really pretty cool. There's no doubt about it. Parts came in. I'll be talking about how they came in, show you that. And there's a truck we're building for a client, a 1959 Chevy Truck. That is cool. We have done more trucks this year than I've ever done really kind of in my life in 1 year. We've done about 4 trucks. Did one for Dave Cortese, for the Senator, and of course we're doing this one here. Got another client, and we're building a big truck for Joe Albanese. Show you an old Mustang we got going on, but hey, instead of spoiling all the surprise on the show, sit down, get yourself a cold one, and enjoy the show. I like to talk about new products. I like something that's so revolutionary, this will change the internal combustion engine on its ear. A gentleman invented an item that is actually called a replaceable valve. This valve, it sounds kind of crazy, but we'll get some close-ups of it. And the way this valve here works, this is going to go ahead and replace a cylinder valve, like it's on top of the cylinder head. The head will be completely remachined. This here will slide in there to go ahead and replace the valve. The industry of the internal combustion engine has changed. It changes all the time. You think this might not be new stuff. Stuff's coming out all the time. Remember, the Vortec came in the 90s. Fuel injection wasn't added into cars until actually in the 80s when they brought in fuel injection. Internal combustion motor was done actually in the 18th century. So they're still working with it. We know the electric cars are coming in, but we got about 20, maybe 25 years of actual good use of the internal combustion engine. Some people are really kind of fancy. They call it ICE, internal combustion motor. But to replace the valve on this and doing it from the top of the motor, motors are getting so complicated today. So we have a completely rebuilt, redone cylinder head for a Ford 390, just to give you what it is. And it shows the valve and the spring up here. If this right here, this is a big version of it, if this was machined into the cylinder head and all the way in there, we would be able to go ahead and replace the valve. And when you see it on this cylinder head, we're going to get the camera over here, and you can actually see that this cylinder valve is absolutely chipped. We have to replace it. It'd be a pretty good idea to do it right from the top, unscrew it and take it out. That's what this is all about. There's heads being remanufactured as of now. There's a lot of people that have not changed their valves yet that need to be done with the sodium, the stellite, because of running unleaded fuel. The industry is crazy with selling cylinder heads. Elderbrock, Dart, they can't keep heads in stock because they need cylinder heads. We're coming with this new revolutionary item. This is going to be absolutely the new thing, the new tool, the new deal in the automotive trade. I bet you see a lot of them out there. Check out these valves. As you can see, the valve inside my hand right here, and this is the cage that the valve slides into. This right here is the real trick. This item right here. This is the item that will actually screw down into the cylinder head, so then when you need to replace the valve, so you can do a valve job on your car, basically in really about a couple hours, and you're completely done. It's kind of cool for the hot rod world, race world, regular world, diesel, small engines. We did one in a Briggs & Stratton motor, and already done. We had motors still running. It's probably still running in the back right now on being tested on how well and how long they last. And the valves are really, you use the same valve that you would use actually in the 390. If you're going to do a Chevy valve, you're going to do the same thing. So when you check these heads here out and see how they're chipped and see how they're done, you're going to see this is a pretty neat item done by Frank Ordazone. He's the one who actually designed it, and he has the patent on it. It's kind of a pretty cool item. Check it out.
Dum 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 be dooby dum 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 be dooby dum 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 be dooby dum wah 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 dum 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 be dooby dum 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 dum.
Let's bring you to a project we've been working on. Is the 1956 Chevrolet four-door sports roof, which is actually a hardtop. 56 was the first year they actually ever had a four-door sports roof hardtop. And it's what means there's no post in the center, which we're going to show you. But last time this car here was on the show, we've had a lot of stuff done to it since then. And there was a section where you saw Danny Kaye polishing the wheels, and they came out absolutely, and I mean spectacular. And some of the other parts we're having a lot of hard time getting were parts. Parts for this car has been, I'm not going to use the word a nightmare because we have the COVID-19 problem. It's getting parts. And I think everybody in the industry and a lot of guys and gals at home probably ran into the same thing, building your car, doing your car, ordering parts from wherever you're going from, is getting the parts. I think Dan Chuck really did the best they possibly could do. And I'm really happy that they did what they did. It took a lot of time getting the moldings for this car. My big deal was I wanted good, strong stainless. I wanted the stainless to just brighten this car up. To me, that's what makes the car. When you get a beautiful paint job like this, Sierra Gold, and you get, it just looks beautiful. And have the stainless on here. Ed's got it all on the car now. Finally, the stainless is in. We had a couple marks on the hood we had to have redone. So we go ahead and our painter, Ricky, go ahead and match the color. Believe me, it was not easy to match Sierra Gold because the right flake, the right air temperature to do this. I'm telling you, I think it looks spectacular all the way around. But I kind of want to walk around the car with you and show you a little bit of what we're at. And part of why I'm having it on the show today, I'm going to show you what we got in stock for this car that is... We've been waiting 24 weeks to get this in. This originally was going to be at the Mecum auction where we took 15 cars to back a few months ago. And this car was supposed to go there. It's going to go into another auction. We'll probably be taking this here to Barrett-Jackson because of the type of detail the car is. And we're looking for the most we can get out of it. It is business, let's face it. Owning the shop for all these years, this is what I do. But building this car here is just fantastic. I want the camera to go along the side of this car and check out this stainless. It turned out beautiful. Now, since we had this car in the show last, a lot of things has been done, especially the detail work underneath the engine compartment. This air cleaner was kind of a little bit of a custom job. I think it turned out really pretty cool. Ed kind of had an idea to go ahead and paint the air cleaner top lid the same color, the Sierra Gold, as the frame and the car. The underside of this car is going to be on the next show coming up because the frame is absolutely spectacular. It looks beautiful underside. But trying to show you in here, Danny took care and cleaned the master cylinder all up. The cleanup on the car was really quite a bit. Restoration work was done quite a few years ago. When the car sits, you get dust, you get grime, you get stuff from the garage. You guys and gals know how garage rot goes. The cleanup has been an awful lot of work. We got the air conditioning all charged, ready to go. Motor looks really nice under here. And of course, then Danny went ahead and sprayed the underside of the hood. So the hood is done in a really nice, it's actually called, there's like a race black people kind of use for the type of black that's in there. The name of it's really called hot rod black, just to let you know. It's a little expensive, but it's the right stuff to use, and it makes underneath here look really nice. And the detail, of course, I always say attention to detail makes the car, makes it exactly what it is, and that's what turns this into a very, very spectacular car. But goes ahead and use the grade A bolts on here. It looks pretty cool. I hate to show this over again, but take a look at all the nuts and bolts all underneath here, the cadmium stuff. Check out under the hood of this car. I think it's going to really be a home run. Again, to show you attention to detail, the new nuts and bolts put in here for the trunk and all the rubber for the ceilings was done with the trunk off the car. So it's done really nice and very well detailed. I'm really proud of my staff for doing it. But showing you the inside of this trunk, really makes a lot for me because you can tell, obviously, zero rust in this car. There's no such thing as rust in this particular car. But how nice the whole trunk pan is inside here. And, of course, it's painted. Now, we removed the battery from the front. We put it back here with the long cables. And it just was kind of a different touch for it. We're going to do a little bit of custom work on this trunk, which is going to make a big difference, because this really is kind of a retro rod 56 Belair. And Belairs were 1956. They made about 1,600 of these. That's a lot of cars. But the four-door post cars, they made 265,000 of the ones that are a post car. So there's a lot of rarity to them. You might think 100,000 is a lot of cars, but from 1956 till today, figure that's over 64 years old in these cars. There's not really many out there, and not many out there that are in this fantastic condition. And being a four-door sports roof gives you that really kind of a sleek look, which I really like. But to show you underneath the hood here, get off on a tangent here, but go underneath the hood and the trunk here, all the speakers are all installed inside the bottom here for the stereo system. Before we go ahead and put the trunk mats and put the carpets and stuff in, all kind of that work has already been done. That's what I mean by the attention to detail to make it a nice job. Check out the inside of this. I think it turned out really pretty nice. We're going to take you to inside the car. Now, the neat part is all the wiring is done, and that is meticulous work. Ed has went ahead and rewired the whole car. You're going to see that the dash is all put together. Dash is ready to go. This car starts and runs. It runs spectacular. Runs very, very good, and it's ready to go, ready to drive. But we're going to show you something out here in a minute, but the steering wheel turned out beautiful. Digital dash, all inside. Stell's going to get a camera in there, show you the inside before I show you some of the prize things that we got in. You got to see it. After 28 weeks of waiting, sitting on pins and needles because of the way shipping is gone. I'll explain a few things about shipping. Shipping for almost all auto parts throughout the whole complete country, maybe the whole world, has been slowed up quite a bit. Shipping containers are waiting on docks, and it's really not the labor to do this stuff. It's a lot of the stuff does come from overseas, and a lot of little individual type items, the special dyes to go ahead and dye the color. The color for this interior, for this particular 56 Chevrolet, is beautiful. I think it's one of the most exotic colors. I think that's what's always excited me about this car, because I think the interior is going to make this automobile. And you can see we finally got the front door panels in. We got the headliner in. We got the extra material to finish off the seats in the car. These are the rear panels. We have the sun visors. All the pieces to go ahead and put together the correct color on the seat belts. It's a huge deal. And these seat covers for front and rear, we're going to get a close-up for you to show you how this looks. This material is so deco. It is so 1956. It really makes a huge difference in the car. I feel it does. And it just gives it the right look. And then the camera's going to get a good glimpse of this, the beading that's on here. It's actually the silver beading. And some people call it welting beading, whatever you want to call it. That's what it is. And some of the parts that really held up a lot of the order were the silver buttons. Now, they do come from overseas. It's unfortunate not everything can be built in the United States. We really wish they are. But just like some tires that are made over in Mexico, the thing is the material that they use to put in the tires comes from overseas. So it's really kind of a mixture, a little bit of everything in the shipping world. But I wanted to show you all the interiors here. We're going to be putting this whole car together. Hopefully this car here will be running on the road. See me cruising around the area with Susan in the car. And we're going to go ahead and have this car done within 30 days. When we get this thing done in 30 days, this is going to be one of the coolest 56 Chevrolet Belair four-door hardtops out there. Check out the interior. It's spectacular. Here's a car I want to show you that's a little bit on the bittersweet side. This car here, I've had it in the storage building for really quite a few years. It's actually since 2013. Originally, I was commissioned to build this car for Dr. Reeves Chalmers, one of the nicest guys, of one of my closest friends, a very good man. His quest in life, his bucket list was to build this 1968 Ford Mustang. And we went ahead and did the car like a California Special, a little bit of a Shelby flair to it. And he wanted the car red. He wanted a small block 302 in it, wanted an automatic, power steering, and wanted a nice driver, and it had to be a convertible. When we finished the car, Reeves unfortunately passed away in 2014. Worked something out with the family back then, and I wound up keeping the car. And for nostalgic reasons, I've always kept it. What I mean by bittersweet, I finally have the time to sell the car. It's going to a new home. He's very happy with it. I kind of would like to just have it on the show just to show you folks really what this is all about. And I've never really had it on the show before because it's kind of been in the warehouse at the side when we were pulling the cars out for the Mecum auction. We got the car started. Danny went ahead and started detailing the car. He came up to me and said, "That Mustang is a pretty cool car." And it's really kind of neat. So I got a new home for it. I want Dan and Estelle to go around this car with a camera, look it over, and it's just one of those bittersweet cars. I'm glad it got a good home.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We gonna rock around the clock tonight. Put your glad rags on, join me, hon. We'll have some fun when the clock strikes 1. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock, rock, rock to broad daylight. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
National Parts Warehouse has merged with Winchester Auto Parts. Yes, they both have merged into a huge warehouse. I can't even tell you how large this place is. Now, you guys have mixed with Speed Warehouse. Is that correct? Tell me how that works.
That's correct. We have a joint venture with Speed Warehouse right now, and they're allowing us to operate our business within their warehouse on a wholesale basis. And this way we get 80,000 square feet of parts from the warehouse to the store, and it's expedited. Our turnaround time on these is less than an hour to get parts from the warehouse to the store. So if you're a retail customer, you get your parts right away. If you're a wholesale customer, it's delivered to your door instantly.
So my customer, a guy at your shop, Mr., people out there can be watching this. A guy walks to the counter, Mr. Joe Blow, he orders that part. You guys can get that here in the Bay Area because you are joined up.
Absolutely.
So our end user, like guys like myself, the guy at home, everybody wins and benefits from this, don't they?
Absolutely. This is the new landscape for auto parts now. If people want tangible goods in hand, and this is the way we provide it. This is the service that Winchester puts out for our customer.
Your staff is kind of what makes Winchester Auto Parts work. And I'm not saying that because I buy my parts from you, but I don't know of too many auto parts stores that actually have educated, talented guys who knows what they're doing than Winchester Auto Parts. All your stores do. I bought some guys here. Well, I think the public needs to know, but you guys train your guys. You just don't get a guy that just says, "I know how to change oil," and you put him behind the counter.
From car guy to car guy, you hit the nail on the head. Our employees are all car guys. They didn't just come to do a job. They came here because they're car guys, and this is their passion. This is their interest. This is what they do. And when you walk up to the counter at a Winchester store or you call them on the phone, those are professionals answering your questions. And these guys have been doing it for years. They know the answers, and if they don't have the answer, they know how to find that answer for you.
I want to take you to a few projects that we're working on. We're commissioned to build a 1959 Chevy Truck short bed step side. The neat part about this truck, this was Terry's father's truck. Now, his father passed away many years ago from cancer, and Terry's always been very emotionally tied to it, and she wants to build this truck and have it done for her son, Andrew. And you got to meet these people. They're just fantastic. You'll be seeing them at all the car shows. We sat down, had a big heart-to-heart on the color, the style, and there's so many details with what many of you know at home when you are building one. You're going to see some photos on this that Estelle's going to put up from when we got the truck in. This thing was absolutely it was a mess. There's no doubt about it. The bigger mess, the better the vehicle, the better the show. You're going to see the truck with the bed all ate up on the back side of it. There's some rust issues in there. And then you're going to, as the photos are going along, you're going to see that we go ahead and we remove the rear fenders. We remove the bed. Then we got the front fenders off. And then we lifted the cab up in the air, and you'll see some shots of the frame. Raul went ahead and literally bead blasted the frame, got it all cleaned up, and we went ahead and put on a Mustang 2 full front suspension on it. Believe it or not, guys and gals, it sounds like it's easy. People say, "Oh, you just slap the front end on." There's a lot to it. There's measurements, there's time, there's welding, and there's a lot of skill to get them right. You can see a lot of them out there when you go to the shows. People have it. You see the rack and pinion. It could be leaking. It's not right. It doesn't steer right. We need this thing to be safe, and we're putting in power brakes. So we went ahead and put a power brake booster. We had two types to put in. One goes on the firewall. One goes on the frame. Again, the parts availability problem we had is we could not get the one that went on the firewall. So we stuck to the system that goes on the frame. I'm kind of glad we did. It makes the firewall look really nice and clean. The color of this truck here is going to be kind of a deep deep. It's called Drive Me Crazy Silver, and the color is absolutely stunning. So it's a deep silver metallic. It's a beautiful color on the car. So we went ahead and ordered a crate motor. Now, getting this crate motor during the middle of COVID, that was a job itself. We went ahead and we tried Summit. We tried Winchester Auto Parts. Nobody could get it. We found out through the grapevine Jegs had two. I tried to order them both, but they sold me one. I got one of the motors in, and it comes with everything. You're going to see the crate, the box with the motor in it, and we got this thing 100% pure complete. Complete means we have the full belly belt drive system for it that will drive the air conditioning compressor, will drive the alternator, and the power steering, all GM stuff. And this is a Vortec motor. It's a very, very cool setup. And when he got it in the car, we started up. It's fantastic. But the big talk we really had with Andrew and Terry was the type of transmission. We were considering a regular standard. You know, the old standby was a turbo Chevy 350. We decided to go ahead with the 700R. 700R is the way to go. And it really makes a difference when this car be driven down the freeway. And we put in 347 gears in the back of it. On this, so all the wheels will all match and bolt on. So we did a full frame off. The frame is painted. The cab, you can see the cab set on here, and you'll see the motor sitting inside the chassis. It looks beautiful. And some of the cool things we did, we ordered the digital type dash, analog dash, and it looks just beautiful inside the truck. So all our stuff inside is going to be done. It's at the painters now being finished. We got everything done underneath the hood. There's a few things they wanted me to do that I don't normally do on a vehicle, but you give the customer what they want, and then I find out that's going to look pretty darn cool. They want the inside all black. The dash is black. Everything inside the vehicle is all kind of a medium, what I call a medium gloss black. It's not overdone with a heavy gloss. It'd be polished and look nice. Heck of a stereo system we got in this car. This is going to be pretty cool. And Andrew came up with a design for the seat, and I think this is going to be a show winner and show stopper. So the outside of the car will be the actual Drive Me Crazy silver. The inside will be black. You'll see this truck as it goes along with some of the cool wheels that we got for it. And I think you're going to be pretty impressed when you see all the pictures that we're going to go ahead and put up there. And then we'll talk about a little Pontiac Firebird here in a minute. Here's a car that I've not had a chance to show everybody yet because it's in the wings. We're building this car here for a special client, and he is very, very particular, and he does, and I mean he does. He wants the best 1969 Firebird Convertible money can buy. Now, building a car sometimes can be a little bit more money than buying one already done, but he wants it a certain way. He wants anything that can be bought and brand new to be put onto the car. And JB, we've done a truck for JB, and he's just a great guy to work with. And I like JB because he knows what he wants. He's got class, he's got good taste, and the paint on this car here, when the camera goes around it, I'm pretty sure that you're going to probably put down whatever you're drinking to make sure that you're seeing what you're seeing. Everything matches absolutely perfect. I think the painter went over the top for this car. Everything matches on it absolutely perfect on the round. And we're going to take you to the inside of the car, show you all around it, all about it. Let's start. Camera, let's go around this car and show these folks what the best Firebird in the world is going to look like.
Why do fools fall in love? Why do birds sing so gay? Lovers await the break of day. Why do they fall in love? Why does the rain fall from up above? Why do fools fall in love?
The cool thing about this, what JB wanted was a driver also, beside having the best 69 Firebird convertible out there, which you can probably tell by all the quality of the paint, the lines, the way things line up on the car. But we're actually adding vintage air conditioning to it. This car was not a factory air conditioned car, so we're adding vintage air to it. We added power brakes. Now, it did have power steering already, which made a big deal. We built this motor roughly about 3 years ago. We used the aluminum Elderbrock heads on it. The motor's going to be really nice, sweet cam in it. This right here is a Turbo 400, which all the transmissions were in the Pontiac Firebirds. And this right here is really a great car. You can see underneath here the padding on the top, the insulation is done. You know, I always say it on the show. I don't want to bore everybody with it, but the attention to detail. If you guys and gals are building a car at home, attention to detail is where it's at. People really, really look at it, and it makes the difference. It is actually what really makes the car stand on top of the hill better than most. You'll see all the way the nuts and bolts are up here in the front of the cowl. It's just very, very cool all the way around. Check it out. And this right here is going to be one of the finest Firebirds out there.
Love is a losing game. Love can be a shame. That foolish me, tell me why. Why? Tell me why.
Don't turn off your TV set. Don't think I'm crazy. I don't want any emails say, Mike, what are you doing an 85 El Camino for? But this happens to be a 1985 El Camino. And I think they're really going to be coming on strong. I've liked all El Caminos from ever since they started building them, from 59 all the way till 1987, I think was the last year for the El Camino. I could be wrong, but I think it's in 1987. This happens to be in 1985. Had a phone call from an old neighbor, called me up, said, Mike, you always liked that El Camino I had. And I really did, because it had the dark claret interior, but it was white, very simple car. He was a driver, but just had very low miles. I love low mile cars. Low mile cars, I'm kind of a lay down for all that stuff. But this car had low miles on it. I just never really cared for the white in it. So I did at one time actually had a burgundy with the bottom on the car with the Sebring silver on the bottom, and it was a SS car. I always thought I'd like to have that car back. I tried looking for one. They are hot. Hard to buy, expensive, and I wanted one. So I'll make a long story short, I think it's a good investment. That's why I don't mind building the car. So I'm having a little bit of fun with it. Ordering parts for it, again, and I've been complaining on the show a lot about getting parts. It has been difficult. But we've been getting parts slowly but surely. Tony at Restoration Auto Source has been really good for us for some of the parts. And some of the other ones we have to kind of pick and choose on who and where we can get the parts from. But I went ahead and took a white El Camino, and I had this painted in a base coat clear, the top color in the claret. It's a burgundy metallic. It's a really nice color. I call it kind of a pretty color. It looks really nice. And then the bottom on the car, the Sebring silver on the bottom, gives it the SS touch. We got all the taping in for the car, for the SS, for the fenders, and the striping that's going to go on here. It's kind of a silver and red striping. You'll see it on the show as it comes up. Danny's putting this car together with brand new carpets, all the stuff inside it, and of course we're changing the wheels back to the original wheels. These right here actually had a beauty ring on them that was a brushed material, not a real shiny beauty ring. We're trying to find them. And some of these things, believe it or not, doing a 1985 vehicle has been a challenge. More of a challenge than I thought it would be. I was able to get a completely replacement grille, headlight bezels. I'm trying to get all the new stuff we possibly can, because these right here are really fetching a lot of money, and I think it's a good looking car. Danny's going to take the camera around here, show you a little bit about what we're doing on it. Check it out. Could be a little fun.
Well, you can rock and you can roll and you can stop and even stroll it at the hop, 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 hop. When the record starts to spin and you chop, so when you chicken at the hop, 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 hop. Do the dance sensation that's swinging the nation at the hop, 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 hop.
There's so much going on there. This automotive world is crazy. SEMA's happens to be going on right now down in Las Vegas. We were supposed to be down there really on the 4th and the 5th. Some things came up on my personal schedule. I couldn't make it. So I sent a couple other people down to SEMA to get us some good ideas and some of the new stuff, the new products, all the crazy stuff out there, and talk about what's in stock and what's not in stock. Because you know on the show I complained a little bit about it. I don't mean to, but it is frustrating when you're building your favorite project and you don't and you can't get the parts. I know it's difficult. But you know, this car world is a fun world, it's a good world, and I'm glad to be part of it. I'm glad to be a part of it with you. There's a lot of things going on out there in this world, and this kind of keeps us all kind of sane, I think. During some of the problems we had, this hobby is a great hobby. And for guys and gals that are enjoying it, when I come and see them to the shows, I'm pretty blessed when they come up and say hi or I watch the show and something. So God bless you all, and we'll see you at the next time.